Thank you very much, Nandi. Let's pick up here. Let's get more reaction on the President's address to the nation last night. And we're joined by Cosatu's General Secretary, Bheki Ntshalintshali. Mr. Ntshalintshali, thanks for your time. I want to get your reaction first to the breaking news that the daughter of Nelson Mandela and Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, Zinzi, has died.
It's sad, Polly, that we're losing so many people during this difficult time. We were lucky in 2018 in Denmark to be hosted by her when our delegation were there for a global trade union congress. So she will live in our memories for the hospitality she gave to us. But coming back to the terrible time that we're having, we're losing the people we love most. Unfortunately, this disease is cut across. In the last 7 days in Cosatu, we've lost 3 former leaders, from our national treasurer to our second deputy president and now to our Eastern Cape. So it's devastating. In the speed in which it happens.
Mr. Ntshalintshali, I don't know whether you know more about this, but the link between her death and COVID-19, are you suggesting that she succumbed to COVID-19, or you're not aware?
I'm not aware. That's why I'm just saying during this period. We don't know. We have just heard from the news when you are announcing it yourself and you said you are waiting for the details. We don't know. But just the period in which people are passing for various reasons.
Perhaps just a final point on Zinzi Mandela's passing. Is it fair to say that she died having become disillusioned with the party that both her parents committed themselves to? Particularly, I think her gripe was in February when the ANC defended the former president, F.W. de Klerk, who said that he didn't agree with the UN that apartheid was a crime against humanity.
I think those were some of the mistakes that people have pronounced in relation to de Klerk and all those things. It's unfortunate that those some of our leaders have come to that conclusion. But at a later point, I think they came back. So the question of just changing views from time to time, I think is unfortunate for the movement that we could come to that conclusion. There are many issues where our movement have done well. There's also other issues where they've just made terrible mistake in terms of their hastily pronouncements.
Let's come to the issue of what the president announced last night. And the major talking point at the moment is that of the ban on alcohol. The industry is very clear that upwards of 1 million jobs in the alcohol value chain are going to be lost. Do you think this is the right measure to try and preserve the capacity of the healthcare system?
We understand where government is coming from. If the evidence is correct that they are presenting, that since the unbanning of alcohol, our hospitalities has been overwhelmed, one can only come to that conclusion that maybe this is what needed to be done. But more so, the issue is our behavior as people. That I think in the last few weeks, some of our people are behaving in an unbearable way. So I'm not suggesting in any way that it's because of alcohol, but we can't argue against it if they said there's evidence to that direction. The impact on jobs is going to be terrible. Our main issues is not also about alcohol, it's about the transport system that government has just blinked to these issues. It just defeats all what government have said in terms of social distances, but more worried when they are bullied to agree to something that is going to affect our people.
So you do believe,
to the workplace.
So you believe that the president, in essence, actually rewarded the impunity of the taxi industry by saying to them they can now load at 100% capacity locally, when there is evidence that the president points to himself that suggests that COVID-19 is airborne. I mean, who's going to police the taxis with windows being down and making sure that everyone is wearing masks?
It's a terrible decision that they've taken. More so being bullied. Maybe they could have come to the same conclusion on their own. But what one can say is that taxis are law unto themselves. They will do as they please. There's not enough police, but they're saying to government, they're showing it the middle finger. We're worried that people, before they come to the workplaces, before they arrive at schools, they have to use this transport that we're using. And it's going to be the core, in our view, in terms of spreading the disease.
Final point, Mr. Ntshalintshali. We are once again in the middle of the load shedding crisis, and perhaps today may not have been announced that we're going to see more of it, but it's come back nonetheless. Government clearly is failing to deal with this issue decisively, simply because load shedding was an issue before COVID-19. And where is Minister Mantashe with the IRP?
We have written to our government, we have written to the ANC and suggesting what needed to be done with Eskom in terms of the energy. The question of just doing the minor services here and there is not going to be helpful. We are lucky that the economy is slowing down in any way. But who's going to come and invest in our country if we can't secure the energy supply? It's a disaster. Honestly, this is one of the painful issues. We have come the long way to suggest that how Eskom can be funded, but not only in terms of just the question of maintenance. There are many areas in which government can address the issue of the energy. The government is just silent.
Well, Cosatu, General Secretary, thank you very much for your time. Bheki Ntshalintshali.